Welcome to the Rich Report, a podcast with news and information on high-performance computing and cloud computing. Today, my guests are from a new startup called Nevex. We have Andrew Flint, who is a product manager, and we have the co-founder and CEO, Stephen Lamb. So welcome to the show this morning, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Well, great. You know, I've been reading a little bit about Nevex and what you guys are up to. But I have your slides up here if you want to launch into that, and we'll follow that with Q&A. Sound good?
All right. Perfect. So I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to listen to this. The intent here is only to spend about 15 minutes on slideware, so not death by PowerPoint. On slide 2, the agenda, we've broken this down into 3 sections. We open with the pitch of the Nevex product, what it solves in the field, how it solves it, and what the main benefits are that we drive. We then go to our unfair competitive advantages, and then I'll pass it back over to Steve to talk a little bit about Nevex itself and how we take this product to market. So kicking off on slide 3, the problem we solve, Nevex's mission is very straightforward. Software that accelerates business server applications on both physical servers and virtual machines, things like VMware. This is what we got from our initial customer research, but more specifically, this is a true pain point in the organization. Slow apps don't just annoy users. They don't just annoy management. Certain business-critical applications, it's more than user and management pain. It's pure business pain. Certain apps drive the business, and app performance translates directly into business workflow efficiency, translates directly into the dollar fabric of the organization. And this is the reason people spend so much time and money on increasing performance. On slide 4, here are some of the traditional ways people go about it. Usually, when you have a slow application, the first thing you think of, I'm going to tune the app. And if you're talking about a database, you might spend an amount of time partitioning, making join tables, indexing, cubing, etc. You will get an incremental bonus of performance out of that database. But as your query profiles change, as the data grows, that gain starts to degrade. You can continue to do it, but it's an ongoing effort to keep the performance up. The other way people go about it is, well, my app is slow, so I'm going to make my app server faster. I'm going to buy more hardware, or I'm going to put on more memory. And the interesting thing here is the main performance gain you get on the app is the portion of the upgraded memory that's being used to cache local application data at the server itself, increasing storage performance and reducing latency, and you're getting a real benefit to the app. Which brings us to slide 5, the real source of the problem. Not necessarily everybody realizes this, especially when you're talking high I/O workload environments like databases, Exchange, SharePoint. The real slowdown is the difficulty of getting the data to and from the back-end storage device. Because the server has increased tenfold performance capacity or capability in the past time frame, that back-end storage or spinning disk technology has gone up about 25%. And that's a huge disparity. On slide 6, this is what Nevex seeks to solve. Increase storage performance, drive that storage performance directly, targeted at the applications that you care about. We use Flash to cache local data on the server, making it look like a lot like the benefit you get from adding more memory. We deliver that performance boost directly to the applications you care about, so you get maximum performance, you reduce latency, and it's a win-win for the customer. We're adding performance, and we're also allowing you to better utilize your back-end storage. Redeploy spindles that you were using for performance to handle your upcoming capacity needs. So on slide 7, how do we do that? Well, simply we do it by caching to Flash locally. Flash breaks the I/O bottleneck. It is significantly faster than spinning disk. It is also significantly more expensive per gigabyte than spinning disk. So we are not saying migrate completely from your previous investments in storage wholeheartedly over to flash because A, that takes a lot of time, B, it wastes your previous investments, and C, it's probably doomed to failure. IDC themselves say that 85% of large-scale data migration projects fail. So instead, we're saying utilize flash properly within the enterprise. Create a performance layer based on flash. Keep your back-end storage system for capacity and all the important data lifecycle functionality like snapshots, backups, etc. that you need it for. And further, take that flash layer, take that performance layer and our caching software and put it on the server itself. Put the data as close as possible to the CPU to not just drive up performance via flash, but drive down latency because now that data is traveling at bus speeds. It's not going across the network to the SAN, traversing the SAN, back again. So you can get orders of magnitude improvement in latency times. So cache to flash to drive up performance. Do that locally to drive down latency. And on slide 8, you have Nevex Cacheworks that has solved the I/O bottleneck and accelerates any I/O-bound application using any flash backed by any storage. Beyond that, Cacheworks has some industry-unique architecture that allows you to deliver selective optimizing caching, as well as integration with the Windows memory cache. And all told, that means that we can exceed the top speed of the flash itself. We can make the application go faster with Nevex Cacheworks than if it were loaded completely on a flash or SSD drive. And on slide 9, just some high-level customer benefits that we drive from this solution. Exactly as I said, application-specific performance. So we're not just after caching or accelerating storage blindly. You can tell Nevex to accelerate just one application among many, even specific directories or type of files. And this allows you to focus the caching of hot data to direct the gain to the applications that really need it. And this is our key differentiator. This is our unfair competitive advantage. So I'm going to cover it in more detail in the next section. On the side of performance, you can drive up 10 or 15 times gain on raw IOPS. Obviously, your mileage is going to vary at the application level. You could get 2 to 4 times application improvement, which is just incredible. But the main take-home here is that that gain is seamless. As far as the back-end storage is concerned, no migration is necessary. As far as the application is concerned, no configuration is necessary. Neither needs to know that Cacheworks is in play in the middle, giving that gain. It is seamless on both ends. And also, coming back to the win-win, we are offloading performance from your back-end storage to the server. That's taking weight off the back-end storage. That's allowing you to redeploy all the spindles that you were over-provisioning for performance to be used for capacity. And you maintain all the great things your back-end storage system is doing, as said, like snapshots, backups, etc. So we're not just adding a performance level to the organization, we're better utilizing your existing storage system as well. All right, that's a high level of the problems that we saw in the marketplace, how we solve them, and a few of the benefits that we provide. Now we're just going to talk a little bit about the overall market landscape and how we compete, or how we believe that Nevex is the better way to go. So on slide 11, market landscape, just a little bit of some of the competitors that are out there. I have not populated this slide with absolutely every caching technology that exists. You can cache at the SAN, you can cache at the NAS, you can cache at a network appliance level. And as mentioned, there's a little bit of caching happening in RAM or system memory on the servers. I've also left off the consumer players. They are out there targeting laptops and desktops and PC gamers and all those good things, but that's not where we play. Looking just at the cache locally on the application server, there's about 5 of us. Some of them are grayed out a bit here because Fusion IO, Stack, Velobit, They're currently in beta, expected to go GA by the end of the year or start of next. Our reference competitor FlashSoft and ourselves NEVEX are in play now. Obviously, we look at this slide in 2012, it's going to look a little bit more packed, but right now it's just FlashSoft and us. Even among the players up here, there's some distinct platform differentiation. Fusion IO acquired a company called IO Turbine. That solution only works for Fusion IO flash devices. STEC is optimized for their own flash devices, but they also sell an agnostic solution, so they're more of a direct competitor. Velobit is a Linux solution, and they don't support Windows or VMs. NEVEX is a Windows and VM solution, and we don't support Linux. So there's very clear platform differentiation there. But again, let's say we're looking at this in a year's time frame. People have added more platform support. More players have come into the market. Then how do we compete? On slide 12, well, unlike the other solutions in the space, NEVEX is a file-based cache, not a block-based cache. What do I mean by that? Well, blocks are the component pieces of data. And a block-based cache operates at the disk level. File-based cache operates at the operating system. And as such, we have a much clearer picture of what's going on in terms of applications accessing data. We also do that at the sub-file level, so we aren't caching entire files. We're only caching the active portions of files. That's important because that gets us block-based performance, but allows us to retain file-based advantage. Some of those advantages are selective optimized caching, which I've mentioned previously, integration with the Windows DRAM file cache. These two are the most important items, and I'm going to cover them in the upcoming slides. But another key advantage of operating at the level that we are in is that we get some bonus work from Microsoft themselves. So any flash device, whether it's a PCIe card or an SSD, if the flash is supported by Windows, it's supported by us. We don't have to do any special driver work. We don't have to do anything to support that. Microsoft's done it for us. Also, if you want to compress the cache drive to get better utilization, no problem. Go to the cache drive in Windows and turn on Windows compression, and it works. If Windows 8 comes out with data dedupe as they're saying they will, that will also just work. More ways to get more utilization out of cache drive, and that's all work that Microsoft has done for us. So based on where we are, we can add more customer high-value features faster. And being file-based, we're a little bit more future-proofed. We can support NAS as a backend because it's already a file system. Same story for cloud. And with that, on slide 13, let's get into the number one competitive advantage, selective optimized caching. As a file-based cache solution, we aren't broadly accelerating storage. We are focused on providing guaranteed storage gain directed to the applications that really need it. You can choose exactly what you want accelerated. In a block caching solution or in the other players in the market, you target a storage volume or group of storage volumes, and everything on those volumes gets cached, regardless of priority. If it's active data, it's cached. So if a huge file is read in that maybe has no importance to the business, it pushes out potentially critical data from the cache, slows down the applications that you really care about. There's collateral damage to the cache. With NEVEX, you can define what applications are cached, which are not. You can say which files and directories have the most important data and which don't. We're going to improve this over time, so you'll be able to do it by process, by user ID, by time. So this is going to become even more of an advantage to us. And without question, this is one of the biggest hits with our prospects. As soon as they realize that even down to the level of one single instance of SQL server, they can choose add database in that to be accelerated and ignore the rest. So my high-value transactional database that needs the most performance, perfect. Give it all to that. The other databases in there that run historics and large data reports, they don't need to go any faster. I run those reports overnight anyway, and the huge read of data that they do isn't going to push out data from the cache and slow down my transactional database and slow down the business. We pitch this to customers as providing application-specific IOPS, and it can't be done with a block cache. And last but not least, on the advantages of the NEVEX solution on slide 14, multi-level caching. Again, because we're file-based and integrated into the Windows operating system, we have a unique view into how the Windows DRAM cache or the system memory cache is being used. And we can guide what data gets promoted to that level. So we create a multi-level caching solution where white-hot data is served from system memory, hot data is served from the flash device, and together you have a better optimized caching solution, which in some cases, depending on the I/O workload, you can drive better performance than the top speed of the flash itself, because the hottest data is coming at memory speeds. And flash may be orders of magnitude faster than spinning disk. RAM is another order of magnitude faster than flash. And again, this is a key differentiator for us. It's something that we are going to seek to improve with upcoming releases. So you'll be able to apply policy on what data goes into which level of the cache. And by doing so, increase performance even more. All right. That's covering what we do in the marketplace, why we do it differently, why we do it better, and now just a little bit from Steve on a bit about NEVEX and how we go to market.
On slide 16, I want to talk a little bit about the team. The majority of the team I have at NEVEX I've worked with on and off for over 20 years. For example, Rayanne, Gene, Glenn, and Andrew were all involved in the first startup, Border. And most of them in the third, and now here the fourth. Why has it been so successful? Well, I've got a brilliant group of people who've invented or pioneered technologies such as network address translation, application proxy firewalls, split DNS. Having worked together for so long, we've got a market-focused professional product and development process that allows us to quickly get products to market. How are we going to market? Well, as any startup, they move from the path of beta to early trials to initial sales. And right now, that's where we are. We're in the trial phase, getting our sales. We have several partners that we're in various stages of development with. I have nothing I can announce with you today, but our focus would be server vendors who can help pull more product to their customers, and flash vendors who are able to position themselves as the solution in the enterprise. Another channel for us is the Microsoft Partner Network. As we accelerate Microsoft products, it makes great sense for us to work with their partners. And specifically, we're looking at the Microsoft Marketplace to allow a place for subscription models to be utilized. Our initial focus of our product is to be 100% through channels, though we will in the early days have to do a few direct sales. We will turn those over to channels as soon as they're set up. We're going to focus initially on North America and next year on Asia and Europe. So in conclusion, Nevex Cacheworks accelerates your urgent operational issues with a unique approach that allows you to selectively optimize just that application into a two-level cache that gives you extreme performance. I got a strong, experienced software team, and this really is part of a broader approach. This is our first step towards a cache cloud solution where application servers talk to each other and share their caching information, providing a secure access to this data in a distributed environment. I'd like to thank you for taking the time, and I'm ready for questions.
Well, thank you for that, Steve. Just a kind of the high-level question. It seems like you've got a great engineering solution here, but a very focused market. That doesn't seem to me like that would be by accident. Did you just decide we're going to go after the Windows piece of this and do Linux later? Is that how it went down?
That is exactly how it went down, and we were driven by our customers in that regard. And if you look at the market stats for business applications, you've got 80+% of them running on Microsoft environments. Microsoft is everywhere. That just seemed like the majority solution, and we may expand to Linux in future if that's what our customers demand.
So when you go out with this, your go-to-market solution, is this strictly a software piece that you're adding, or are you going to help your partners with some kind of bundle? How would that work?
So I like to say batteries not included. We are a software police. We do require a flash device, and we would probably look to our customers to help with that bundle in terms of the flash devices or the flash vendors that they're most comfortable working with. We've tested with a number of them in-house, and again, if it works on Windows, it works with us.
So, Andrew, as you were describing some of the features of this, it sounded like there's a lot of knobs and things that people can tweak to see how it really turns out in terms of real performance. Is that how it works? Is there a bunch of dials and knobs to set it up to see what happens?
It's more like check boxes, but yes, we provide some help in the install and the GUI to say things like, I want to accelerate Microsoft SQL Server, check this. If you want to go more deeper and say, I want to accelerate one database within the SQL instance and ignore the others, then you have to, usually at the DBA, has to figure out, okay, the name of the database files are X, accelerate those. So there's a little bit more work depending on how granular you want to get.
So kind of the startups question here to kind of wrap up, guys. There seems to be a lot of SSD kinds of things going on in the market, a lot of excitement around the IPO of one of the other vendors. What's the biggest challenge for you guys, do you think, as you come to market, as far as getting the word out and showing that you have something really different and exciting here?
It's funny because 6 or 9 months ago I would have said the biggest challenge was explaining to people the concept of the I/O bottleneck and that it's storage that's holding back server performance. There have been so many articles and such over the past year that that's starting to become a common message. There's been so much focus on flash that's really helped develop the market with us as well. So I think the number one thing is get out there and get people to understand that don't just throw money at your hardware. Don't just spend time tuning the application. You can get easy, manageable performance from intelligent caching rather than extreme work or extreme spending.
So going forward here, we put this podcast out, and I'm sure we're going to perk up some ears here. What's the next step for listeners that want to engage with you guys?
Well, I think they should go to our website, www.nevex.com, and review our literature and give us a call.
Fair enough. Well, guys, this is really exciting. I wish you the best with this. And Andrew and Stephen, good luck with NEVEX.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Okay, folks, that's it for the Rich Report. Stay tuned for more news and information on high-performance computing.